Welcome everyone. I'm Kia Nicole and I will be your host for tonight's live. And of course, joining me, I have
Chanel, which is your co-host for tonight.
And we do have a very special guest, so let me go ahead and bring her up.
Hi, sis.
Welcome.
Welcome.
How are you?
I'm good. Y'all look so good. And
Awesome.
I just worked a 10-hour
Happy to have you, Mariah. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. What are you ladies drinking before we get started? Nothing. I'm just gonna have a drop out.
Not anymore. My hands are free.
Strawberry lemonade.
Oh.
Cheers.
Okay.
Is it spiked,
Blue
Chanel?
raspberry lemonade.
No, it's not spiked. Okay, well I had a Modelo. If y'all don't know, that's a beer.
I
Okay.
do know what Modelo is.
I know what it is too.
Okay,
we used to sell them at Chipotle when I used to work there.
Okay.
Oh, you too adult for me.
Oh, I just have a very diverse palate.
Yeah, because I'm adult. No. It's giving grown man.
Grown man is crazy.
I take it.
All right, Mariah, before we start, do you want to grab you some water or something? Are you good?
Oh no, I'm okay. I've been drinking water all day.
All right, perfect. All right, we're just going to go ahead and hop right in. So, you guys, we do have a very special guest by the name of Mariah, who happens to be one of my longest friendships. She's one of my best friends / sister. And yeah, I'm so excited to have you on tonight. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and tell them a little bit about you.
Okay. All right. So, like Kia said, my name is Mariah. Last name Shields. I am 27 years old. I will be turning 28 in November. Scorpio season. Just waiting on that.
Just had to shout that out there.
You know.
I am.
You know me, man.
We talking about females, not Scorpio men.
I didn't say nothing. Right. I said Scorpios.
That's right.
Anyway, keep going, Mariah.
Okay, so I was born in Chicago, lived there for a little bit, and then pretty much mostly raised in Daytona, which is where I met Kia. So it's been like 20 years since we've known each other, which is a really long time.
Wait, how many?
About 20 years, because when I moved, I was like 7, 8-ish, and I'm about to be 28. So that's a long time.
That is a long time.
But yes, so like I said, I was raised in Daytona, moved away for school, and attended Florida A&M University, where I got my Bachelor's of Science in Animal Science Industry. And currently, right now, my occupation is Veterinary Technician. And I wanted to pursue becoming a veterinarian, but life has happened.
We'll get into that
a lot
later.
of things have changed, so
we'll get into that in a little bit. All right, awesome. Love that. My girl's well educated, as y'all heard. So let's move into the first topic. So we're gonna start with you being a vet technician, because a lot of people may not know what that even entails. So take us through like the typical work day being a vet tech. Like, what do you do?
Right. A lot of people tend to confuse veterinary technicians with veterinarians. Not that there's differences, but when I say we do a lot of work and we carry a lot of that load like with us, like veterinary technicians do a lot. Not knocking the doctors, they do a lot, but with your techs, we carry a lot of that. But basically when it comes to a typical day, like it's kind of just like any other day. You don't really know what you're going to get into. Sometimes like there's surprises that come in, but as far as my regular work day, I work 10 hours a day. So I work 10-hour shifts 4 days a week. And my job, like duties change. So we have different duties that we pretty much one person will get per day. So it could be one day I'm doing like patient care. So with that, I'm going in and rechecking animals that that it's under us, and I'm treating them, and I'm pretty much just putting eyes on them and hands and seeing if their condition's getting better, if it's getting worse, like what else we need to do as far as diagnosis or running blood work or making other calls. So that's one duty, and then another one is one that we call like surgery flow. So with that, it pretty much it involves preparing like our patients for surgery. So with that, it's pretty similar. we do a lot of the stuff that we do is pretty similar to what people do with like human medicine.
Yeah.
So like your dogs, your cats, or just in general, like, you know, they get dental cleanings, they get blood work done, we place catheters, we give them fluids, we give them shots, like vaccines. Like, it's pretty much similar, but it's just you're dealing with a lot more like species. It's not just one thing, but like it changes, and depending on like what kind of animal you're dealing with, like the treatment of course will be different. And so it just changes. Like every day is different. Sometimes you'll get emergencies that come in and you have to like stop what you're doing, go and give like drugs to kind of help with pain management, and just jump in and do what you got to do. So pretty much every day is just a mystery. But
that sounds so chaotic.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. Chaotic. And knowing me, I like my stuff to be like, I like a set schedule. So I like for things to, I'm like, okay, let's plan it out and let's do it like this. But it's not like that at all. And so sometimes I kind of have to, when it gets out of hand and chaotic, I have to kind of talk myself down and just be like, it is what it is. It's happening. Like, you'll get through it and just like proceed to move on and just do what you can with this day. So yeah,
have little pep talks. I love that. Are there any animals that are like off limits, like any animals y'all don't treat? Because I don't know who y'all treat. Pretty much every household animal, like lizards and stuff, and iguanas and stuff.
It depends on what comes in. So right now the industry that I'm in, or the field that I'm in, is shelter medicine. And so I know for some people, they're not familiar with shelter medicine, or some people, when they think of shelters, oftentimes it's not a good association. But being that I've been there for like over 2 years, I do quite enjoy it versus what I was doing like in general practice. And not that I didn't enjoy that, but like I said, we get all kinds of stuff as far as animals. It just depends on like what people bring in. Because like I said, we're a shelter, so we're open to the public. So some people, like when I say I've seen stuff as far as hedgehogs and deers and snakes and
you lost me a hedgehog. I said,
and
insane.
Like it is different, and I'm just like, oh, I was like, and still, like I said, some things I have not seen yet, but we get a variety of things that just come in, and I'm just like, oh, that's different, or like I just haven't had to work with that animal yet.
Right. So. Y'all treat deers? That's wild. People have deers for pets?
We'll see.
Or just be like, if they're harmed out in the wild, people are
harmed, right? So out in the wild, and they find them. Like somebody, like I said, because it's a shelter, because oftentimes people will call like animal control if they see like something like that's hurt and it needs like tending to. They'll call, and then we'll have like animal control. They'll go pick it up, or like county officers and stuff like that. Like they'll go and pick up the pet on the scene or the animal on the scene, and they'll bring them back to the shelter, and we'll do what we can do. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, how long have you been in like that whole field with working with animals?
Let's see.
I know you said now you're in like a new department or something, but you were in general before. So like, how long altogether?
I got my first job back in 2019 or 2020. It had to have been 2019. It was 2019. It was like the ending of 2019. So 21, 2, 3, 4, like about 5 years. So I've been in the industry for 5 years. Like I got my first job at an animal hospital my last semester before I graduated, and I wanted I needed the hands-on experience for what I wanted to do, which was to become a veterinarian. And so when I got in, I was just like, I had that fire for it. Like I was excited, and I was like, man, like this is really cool. But just kind of throughout the years, which is why I switched from general practice to shelter medicine, to kind of see if like I would get that spark back. Because like I said, somewhere along the way, I just lost it. I wasn't passionate about what I was doing. So it definitely changed.
Okay. So being that you've given the field a good 5 years, which is really good for our generation because we're known for job hopping and switching. But
might get a good 2 years out
but
of
when
me.
one job don't serve you, we just move to the next.
But
So 5 years is a really good time.
in all honesty, that is how it's supposed to be though. When you go to school, you get the experience. Once you've learned and mastered something, your whole purpose is to learn something more. You're not supposed to just sit in the same mundane task. So,
That's true.
after a while, you do want to elevate and learn more.
Right.
True. So being that you've been in the field for a few years, have you ever craved or wanted another career path, or are you, good with where you are now?
Yes, absolutely. And it's been, like I said, I've been in this industry for about 5 years, and it was over a year ago when I finally decided for myself that, and it took me a minute to kind of realize and actually admit, like to say like you know what, this is not what I want to do, because like I said, the patch is not there. But to answer your question, yes, I am currently and in the process of like starting over. Like it's scary, and like I said, at first it took me a while to admit it, and part of that was because I didn't. I guess I was so much worried about letting others down, like my parents and my family, because growing up, like I've been saying I want to be a veterinarian since I was 12. Like I could remember vividly career day, and they're like, oh, like what do you want to be? And I'm just like, well, I love animals. Like I want to be a veterinarian. So I literally, since I was 12, was like, I'm going to be a veterinarian. I'm going to be a doctor, and I'm going to take care of animals. It wasn't until like over a year ago where I was able to finally come to terms and say like, this was not for me. And like I said, it was so much of letting other people down and trying to graduate on time. And I will say, it took me more than 4 years, because school started getting harder. Like it started getting harder, classes started getting tough, and that organic chemistry, that is just its own like language in itself.
Yeah.
So like I said, it just started to get harder, but I pushed through, and like I said, it took me 5 years to graduate. And once I did, I was like, well, let me just start getting my experience, because I was volunteering like at the shelter and stuff like that, to get experience and hands-on and stuff like that. But once I got in the field, I was just like, I started to question a lot of things. And so like I said, it just took me a minute to kind of just come to terms with it for myself and say, you know what, at the end of the day, like it's about my happiness. And once I was able to kind of verbally come out and tell like even the people I was worried that would judge me, and that's being like my boss and my coworkers and like I said, my family, I was scared to even say anything. But once I did, when I say I got so much support and love for just like I said, the decision that I decided to make, like I just was like, it was just a big weight pretty much lifted off my shoulders. Because like I said, I was worried about them being disappointed, and no, they just pretty much all wanted for me to be happy and to actually find that passion again, and just to be okay again. As far as
I wanted to follow up with a quick question, just a quick. With that being said, now that you kind of say you based your career on passion, so my question to you is, have you found another passion that that it's up to you if you're willing to share, or is it kind of more so like, okay, can I see myself doing this in a long one, short one? Like, what eventually made you feel like that's not your passion anymore?
As far as like the passion, I would say it was just after a while I got burnt out, and I know that happens. That can happen with anything in life. But it was like once I got burnt out, and like I said, I switched jobs. I went into a whole different field, and like I said, I was trying something completely different. It was to see if I would get that spark back. But after a year being there, I was like, this just might not be for me. Like it doesn't mean, like I said, my love for animals, it's still there. I'm not passionate about the job. Like I don't want to have to do this every day. Like I'm tired. Like I said, burnt out. So and literally, I remember vividly someone told me, and at first I was, not that it didn't make sense, but I was like, it makes sense now. And they said like, you can be someone who loves animals. It just doesn't mean you have to work with them. And I was like, I completely understand that now. I mean, I have pets of my own, but sometimes it's exhausting to be caring for other people's animals, and then I have to come home and take care of mine. Because for one, pets are like children, and some people don't understand that, but they're literally like kids. So, but as far as that, like I said, I just got burnt out. And then also, and this is just me being honest, the vet industry, they don't pay enough for the workload that we do. For the workload that we do, as far as being a tech, even being a tech alone, they don't pay enough. You could be certified, and they don't get paid enough. I have friends who are they are certified and are working more than one job, and I'm just like, what kind of life is that to live? Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, like if you're happy with what you're doing, and some people are like that. Some people, like with this field, they think it's worth it. Like they will give their all and they're just devoted to it. I'm just not that. It's not for me. Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm starting over. And then as far as, do I know what I want to do next, or have I found anything? When I tell you, Chanel, no. Like the answer is literally no. Like it's
I completely can relate. That's why I asked the question, because that I can relate to that. It's like, okay, you've had a passion all these years. Like for me, has been medicine, and I've done medicine. I want to say since maybe 2021, so about like 7 years or so. And it's like after a while, you're just like, oh my God, like, okay, I'm ready to do something different. And then when you do something different, like you say, you're trying to find that spark. It's like you're chasing that high for the job again. And it's like you get there, it's like, the job that should be maybe less strenuous on you is more stressful than what you thought. And then like there's oftentimes I'm like, yo, I left the emergency room because I didn't want this stress. And I'm like, here I am feeling like I'm stressed again. So I can relate. That's why I asked that. When you're doing the same mundane task, it takes a toll on you. So I just wanted to hear your take on it. Thanks for sharing.
It definitely does. One, I want to say is nothing wrong with starting over, and I feel like you're at the perfect age to do so. Like you don't want to reach 50 or so, and then you're like, hold up, I don't want to do this no more. And then it's like you don't waste all your good years on a job that really don't care as much about you as you think.
Right.
Yeah. So kudos to you. And sometimes the path isn't as clear. You just know you got to get out. So just keep consulting God on it, and he'll make his plans clear to you soon. But kudos to you. And I understand nobody wants to just wake up dreading going to work. And you're working around animals, you should be like, they should feel that love from you. And if it's not that you don't love the animals, you just hate doing work all the time. It's a lot. So leave that, to people who love it
also,
so much.
Just a friendly advice to you as well, Mariah. In our 20s is literally to make all the mistakes you can and to fix it. So if you go through and you're like, this is not for me, like I feel like 30 and 40 is like really when you step into that, okay, I know what I want to do. You're you're 100%, but you do, like the 20s is for that. You learn as you go, and you're doing this for the first time. So of course it's not something you're doing and have experience with. So there's nothing wrong with pivoting. Well, I love to pivot. I love to pivot. Okay.
This is the best time to do
it. And you do better every time you pivot because you learn more.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do agree with what you said, Chanel, but also I've heard so many just different stories. And this is why I love to hear, for one, I like to share my story and I like to hear other people's stories, but even people in like their 40s, 50s, 60s, like started later at whatever it is. Like, I don't know, I guess with society, we're so set on like, okay, well, at this age, I'm supposed to be doing this, or at that age, I'm supposed to be doing that. That's not a thing, and it never was, because at the end of the day, the only person that, and I had to realize that knows, like, our path and our plan, like the plans for our life is God. So that's where I had to start putting my trust in him as far as that. So I'm like, I could be like 45 and God's like, all right, like I just don't know. I don't know where I'm going to be at 45. Like he does, but that's why I try not to put numbers on things anymore and just live my life, because for one, tomorrow's not promised, and like I'm gonna be 45 and still young, so I'm just getting older. I'm never gonna say I'm just saying. So, but yeah, I do agree, but also the age thing, I feel like too, we got to get away from that, because I'm not gonna be like, none of us are gonna be that same person. Like we're always evolving.
You're always gonna mature,
changing. So
yeah, agree. Well, let's move on into the next topic. So, if y'all do not know, Mariah is a singer. She's a little songbird. Yes, she is. Not all. So, so I wanted to ask you, what are some challenges that you've had in the past when it comes to singing?
Girl, I'm still
Part.
having them now. I'm still having them now, but for me, it's more so like my breath control, but also what is it when it comes to finding my notes? Like some people just have like that good, like that
Yeah, that
ear
ear.
where they can hear
Yeah.
the music and they're just like, okay, well, this is your alto, this is your soprano, this is your tenor. I don't have that. Not that I can't, but that's just something I have to work on to
Right.
develop. But that's something that I do want to get better with. Is just being able to kind of
Find your note.
find my note instead of just looking at my friend like, what's my note? And they know what I'm talking about because I look
Yeah.
at them and be like, what part I'm singing this part. So okay, what's the note for that? Okay, so that, but also let me see, confidence is what I'm singing.
Mm-hmm.
Is to
I
have
could
that
tell you that one.
confidence.
If you didn't say that, I was gonna tell you.
Is the confidence, and that's something I'm still working on. So
You got it. And you've been singing for years.
yeah,
For
child,
years. Like
I know
for years.
for
Like we
years.
both were in
And
choir. We didn't go to the same school, but like we both was in chorus at school. Then we sung at church together. You're still singing at your church. So it's like
yeah,
you got this. I think it be in your head. So you just
oh,
gotta get out of your head and block
I
out the
do,
noise.
I do, and that's something. Like I said, again, I'm working on. I just have to overcome that in my own time and not beat myself down so much, even when I do make those mistakes
Yeah.
or whatever is like holding me back. But that's with anything, and like I said, it's a confidence thing.
Yeah, you got it though. You got it. All right, so the second part of this question is, as a singer, do you like to sing solo or you prefer to sing like in a group?
Now, if I just say
You
I'm
probably
working,
know the answer now.
yeah,
I had this question before you said all that, so
I
go
know.
ahead and tell the people.
I love a good. Give me the background. I'd be a Michelle, a Kelly, not no Beyonce, but
Crazy.
I be the
Michelle had like
Michelle is
you already know
insane.
she had the best lines,
but
so
but Michelle, she too.
she definitely
She
did. She
knows
killed
it
her
too.
parts every time.
But no, and that's with anything, not just when I'm singing. Again, like I said, it's a confidence
You like me
thing.
in the
But for the most part,
background.
I prefer to be in the background because I don't have to worry about leading or what I'm gonna say next or what ad lib I'm gonna put there, and I'd be like, "Ooh, did I do that right?" So it just kind of, puts me at ease a little bit, just to kind of be in the back.
No,
So
I know what you mean because especially with church songs, it be a lot of ad libs in some of those songs. And have you ever like practiced the ad libs you're gonna say? And then it's so hard because when you get up there, when you're in the emotions, those words may not come to your head. You really just have to feel it and say whatever comes to mind.
exactly,
That is hard. So
it is.
I'm with
It
you on
is.
that. That's so hard. That's a skill for sure.
It
I think
is.
you really just have to like tap in with the spirit
Mm-hmm.
for that, and he'll guide you
Of
with
course.
like how to ad lib.
Listen, I used to sing when I'm older, and I mean younger, and I'm gonna leave it there. I used to sing when I was younger.
Oh no, she
Ooh.
still like to sing,
I'm
but
And
I'm gonna leave it there.
it's okay.
Well, I do
Look.
a little ones too. Just you might not have a full song, but you might have a little something.
there's
Just carry
sometimes
a little tune.
you can get a decent note out. I'm gonna just say that you can.
Okay, someone got faith in me. Good.
Oh yeah. We'll just have to do a karaoke day.
This
It's
is
fine.
not a karaoke. I think we did that already too at the whatchamacallit place when we went to Atlanta.
Oh,
I did
Oh,
karaoke. We
yes, we
did.
did.
That was nerve
It's so
wracking.
long
I
ago.
was so nervous. I was so nervous. Ooh, I don't
Ooh.
think I hit any of them notes. Maybe a couple of them.
Mm-mm.
All right, so moving on into the next topic. One thing I want to say is Mariah is a very, very unique individual with very unique interests. So
Oh,
she shares a love for K-dramas or Korean dramas, not to be mistaken for anime, because I know we all know anime.
yes.
So tell us a little bit more about that for someone who hasn't watched any Korean dramas. Like, what could they expect to see, and what are some recommendations you may have?
Well, the name itself, you know, K-dramas, it's very dramatic. Like always, very dramatic, no matter what you watch. Yes, when I'm watching, it's literally in Korean. So I'm reading subtitles the entire time. So oftentimes I'm not looking at the person on the screen. Like I'll read and then I'll look. So I'm not always catching the emotion in that moment.
Yeah.
But I'm still feeling just by what they're saying, I'm feeling it, you know.
Yeah.
So as far as people, and it's not for everyone. It's just something that I found like years ago. And it might have been 2019 is when I watched, I think, my first K-drama. And since then, it's my go-to. I think I started a new one last week and I'm almost done with the season, but it's very, when it comes to K-dramas, they don't do a lot of seasons. So like a lot of the shows that you see, it's literally just that one season. And that season can go on for like 12 episodes, 16 episodes. I think the longest one that I watched was like 42 episodes. And with the episodes, oftentimes they can go from like 45 to like a little bit over an hour. Yeah.
Not
So I'm
many
just sitting there
movies.
reading, like I said, the whole time. And sometimes I do have to kind of rewind and go back and be like, wait a minute, I missed that as far as what was said. But like I said, it's not for everyone. I've heard a lot of people say, and actually somebody was sitting next to me one day. I was at the movies and she was like, yeah, K-dramas they're just so like dramatic or something. She was like, they're just so bad. And I looked, and my friend looked at me, and she knew I was offended because I was like, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. They just can't appreciate it. But again, it's not for everyone. For me, when it comes to when I watch them, I mostly gravitate towards romance. I love my romances, and it's not just with K-dramas, it's with other stuff. And I think even though I know it's not like that, how it's portrayed on TV in real life, it's just something about having it there in front of me and just being able to kind of just, hope and imagine, like, what if it was like this? Even though, like I said, oftentimes that it's not real.
It's
But it's nice just to kind of. It's
Hopeless
just nice to have
romantic.
that together. What she said?
She said it's giving hopeless romantic.
Because she's hoping
Yes.
and it's romantic. I mean, put them together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
That's
I'm
what
with
it
it though.
is.
Like growing up, we did love like the romance movies and stuff. Like what's A Walk to Remember?
Yeah.
I love the
Ooh,
Titanic.
Ooh,
Titanic.
What else? The Notebook and stuff. Like
Ooh, well, you put me on
I'm
all of
with you because
those.
that's not the K dramas. I don't know. So let us know like where could we start? Like what do we type in? Like how do you even find them?
Girl, well, they're
Serious question.
well, Netflix. If you're not like me, because I have the actual the app that's like called Rakuten Viki, so that has all kinds of dramas.
Mariah, we can't
That's
see your
like,
face, baby.
oh, I'm sorry, just was getting real into it. I needed y'all to hear me.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so just start with Netflix, or I'm just finding out they have stuff on Tubi, and so that's where I'm watching my current one. Honestly, a lot of these platforms are starting to stream K-dramas. Like it's a thing. So if that's something you want to kind of tap into, you can, or just check out and just see,
So
see.
I have two follow-up questions. Can you spot my interest? The
Not
first
two.
question is, I do. They're very quick.
Okay, go ahead.
First, I don't know. I know because you're saying there's a difference between K-drama and anime, and I'm assuming. I feel like I'm gonna answer my question. What about One Piece? I love One Piece, but
One
I had got
Piece
put
was
onto that.
that's
If
an
that's more
anime.
anime, that's what I was gonna say. I
Yeah.
feel like that's more anime. That I can get with. Now the question that I wanted to ask is, anyone that I know that watches K-drama or watches anime, why is it that I am assuming, I feel like I know the answer to this, but I just want to see for someone who actually is into this, why is it that no one ever watches it in English? I understand the words don't line up, but is it just because maybe the emotions are evoked differently if you're watching it in English when they're talking, or maybe the sub, like, why is it that they keep the original language but read English on subtitles? Why do you do that? Like, does it evoke a different emotion?
Well, that's good right there. I didn't even think of it that way. You know, even though oftentimes,
She
like
just watching it in the other
I
language just because.
I feel because it does sync better. Like it makes sense. Like when you're actually hearing it and their mouths are like it's actually matching.
Mm-hmm.
It syncs better. And I, even though if I were to look away from the subtitles, I'm still seeing, like I'm still feeling what that is that they're putting out there, like that they're portraying. But
The
it's
emotion.
just something about them English subtitles. I just
I
can't get with it. I'm sorry. It's just so
Yeah, don't
tacky.
match.
everyone that I
It's just
know
so
that's
tacky. It just don't sound.
anime,
It don't look right. It
everyone
just
that's
don't sound like.
into anime always watches it in
Hmm.
Korean
The original
or whatever.
language.
Like they always keep the original language, and it's like I'm like, well, how are you understanding? And then I actually sat down and watched. It wasn't One Piece. It was something else, and like I just watched it by myself, and I was like, let me just give it a try. Like
Hmm.
instead of me just. And I actually watched, I think, like a good 10 episodes, and I knew what was going on. Don't know what they're saying, but I was following the storyline, the emotions. Like it did evoke something different, but I'm just like, for someone who doesn't really watch it all the time, I'm
Hmm.
just like, okay, I was into that one episode, that one series. But I'm for someone who watches it all the time, I always ask people like, how can we keep the original language? You don't know what they're saying, but
Hmm.
it's just something about keeping it. So I just figured I'll ask.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's a good question. I do feel like if you're not a good, or if you don't like to read, then it probably wouldn't be for you, because you, like Mariah
Right.
said, you literally have to sit there and read, and you might miss the emotion that they're
But you know
displaying.
what? That's wild because you say that. It honestly, I'm not a big reader either. Kia, you've always
And
been the
I
bookworm.
still am
When
reading.
it comes, yeah, when it comes to me, I don't like reading, but I read them K dramas.
But
I
that's what I'm
read my
saying.
books.
Also, some people don't like
Mm.
captions on their stuff,
Oh
so
no,
it's
if
like
it's not on, I can't hear.
I love captions. Seriously, I don't care if they're speaking English. I don't know what they're
I don't
saying
know what you're
without those captions.
saying.
I'm with you.
I'm weird. I'll watch it and it's like if they say something too fast and I didn't comprehend it, I'll go back and put the caption, then I'll take it back off. Like I don't keep it on the whole time. I
I
need to
do.
use my ears to listen. And when you're listening, it evokes like that's why you have your five senses, because they're evoking a different emotion. If I gotta sit there and
Girl,
read,
five
I'm always
senses.
wait a minute, let me go back, because they're saying this sometimes when they do closed captions, it doesn't match up with what they're saying. Like they may say bruh and it type bro. And I'm like, wait a minute, and I'm trying to keep up. So I listen
Right.
intently.
And that's a minor thing. That usually happens though when it's like a different language. But if it's literally subtitles for English, they don't make too many mistakes unless it's like a ghetto or hood movie.
The
Then
one
you
on
might mess
YouTube,
up.
so do child. I keep them closed captions
Oh,
off.
mine be doing good on my shows. All right, let's move into the trivia. This is the fun portion. So
Ooh.
at first I was just gonna go easy on you, but then I'm like, nah, let's up it up a little bit. So it is still easy. It's
Okay.
still easy. Close your mouth. But I just tackled on like a couple more questions.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll start with, first of all, before we get into it, I'm basing these questions off of Mariah's interest that she shared with me. So it's going to be coffee, singing, and then one question on editing. So you say you love editing videos. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna start with coffee.
Okay.
Now this is a right or wrong answer, and I'm gonna give you options. So it's like ABC. Coffee plants originated on what continent over 1,000 years ago? Is it Africa, Europe, or Asia?
Africa.
Good job. Okay. That's nice. Come on. I mean, it is the motherland, Everything came from the,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good job. All right, this is just a this or that coffee question. Do you like your coffee hot or
Hot.
iced?
Don't ask me nothing about no cold. I'm sorry. I
I
don't
knew you
know.
was gonna say that, but dang.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I just
Oh,
I
she
can't
like
do
what
it
she
like that.
like.
I like what I like, and reason why I recently tried a new coffee shop, and I was like, let me mix it up and do like a cold brew. When I tell you, I took 5 sips and I said this going in the trash. I was done. I said
You should
I
just
was
told them swap it out for something hot.
I had left by then. It's okay,
Oh,
but hot.
okay. All right. We'll move into the singing portion. Which do you like to sing, in soprano or alto? I know the answer, but
Alto, give me an alto or give me that tenor.
not tenor.
Hmm.
Okay, D
I
boy.
mean, now lately, I have been singing tenor. I'm just trying to kind of get a feel for it, but I do like a good tenor part.
You like tenor?
Hmm.
Okay, Tony. Love that.
You saw get down there.
No, that's a skill. Just like people who can sing really high is a skill. If you're a woman, if you get low, that's a skill too, because we expect that from men, you know. So that's good that you could sing tenor. Okay, you still like Grease, right? The musical. Grease, the musical.
That's been so long, but I mean,
Let's test your knowledge. Okay. All right, so this is a common. So this is a finish the lyrics from the song. You're the one that I want. You got the melody in your head. She started grooving. Okay, I'm gonna give you like one line. You have to finish it. You better shape up, cause I need a man. What's next?
And my heart is set on you.
Yes.
You better shape up. Okay, don't get me started.
Oh, she better keep going.
Okay.
I keep up, baby. I'm like, wait a minute. I like Grease now. Hold up. I do. But I was like, wait a minute.
That's one of the most popular songs from the musical. Yeah, we all like a little Grease. We grew up on that. You know, that's
when I take a flight, that'd be the first thing I watch. I don't know why I watch it, because it's the duration of the flight.
Okay. All right, let's get into the last trivia question, which is focused on editing. This is just a this or that. Like, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to edit in a peaceful and quiet environment where like there's nothing playing or noise, or do you like to edit with like some music playing or so as your
probably in a quiet setting, because I can focus a little bit better. But oftentimes when I am editing, I have headphones in, so I'm going whatever music that I'm putting with the video I'm editing. That's literally what I'm listening to.
The music you listen to.
So that's like playing over and over again, and I wouldn't want to have extra music or extra sound in the back, especially if I'm trying to sync it.
That's funny. I'm like, you see how you edit with music? It's like I can listen to music, but when I edit, I don't edit with the mindset of using a specific music. I edit and then find the music to match what I edit. So I'm like, that's a pretty neat way to like do it, to listen to the music. And I'm like, okay, I never usually have the music picked out. I edit and then I'm like, ooh, this evokes the emotion of the edit. That's a good way to do it too.
Yeah.
To listen to the actual song.
I think I start with my music. Well, of course I get my videos, but depending on what it is that I'm editing, like the video, I'm going based off of like, well, what do I want to feel in this when I'm watching this? Right. So then I go from that to kind of sync with sync it with the music, and just it takes a minute, but
it's a cool little hack, a cool little trick. Thanks for putting us on. I'm like,
Well, thank you, Mariah. This ends our episode of Live and Unfiltered. Before we close out, I'm going to let you have the floor again. Let the people know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Okay.
If you want to. If you don't want to, you ain't got to tell people.
Well, okay. No, it's okay. So I'm not really on social media as often. Well, not on Facebook or like Twitter or anything. So you can find me on Instagram at Mariah Elizabeth .s. I'm about to say, is that my name? Yeah, that's my name. I don't even know. But you should be able to see on here. So if you want to follow me on here, you can. I don't really post my face as often. I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm just focusing like on aesthetic and just different things. So Instagram is where I'm mostly at.
Okay, perfect. You don't have TikTok either? I feel like that'd be perfect for what you do.
Well, not yet. I did deactivate it.
You know what? I like TikTok, but I don't know what it is. When I get on there, I get very like addicted to it. So I'll stay away for months, and then I like binge it for like a week, and then I'll get away for months. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just so scared, because I feel like on there it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's just captivating. Like I sit there for hours. So I try to program myself where it's good to take breaks. So with TikTok, I don't know. It has me in a chokehold when I get on there. So I use it, but I don't. I'll be reading stuff from like 6 months ago, and I'm like, dang.
6 months ago is crazy. I'm not gonna fault you, because I don't have TikTok myself, because I don't want to get addicted, and I saw how it had a whole bunch of people in the chokehold during the pandemic. So I'm like, it's just too many apps to like keep up with, and I don't want all that sitting on my phone.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
do want to get better at it though, but I just have to find a healthy balance where I'm like, okay, this is okay not to go this day. I don't want to be like, oh, we gotta go check this every day.
Right.
2 a.m. and you scroll.
And you know one thing about TikTok, if you type anything in that search bar, that's all they're gonna push you.
Yeah.
So you're gonna find one thing and you're like, oh, this is interesting. You find something else and you just keep going and going. Next thing you know, it's the next morning.
Yeah, no, I don't need it.
Welcome,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you for joining. All right, this ends our live. Like Mariah said, you can find her name at the top. Hit the drop-down arrow. You'll see all 3 of us, actually, and you can follow whoever you choose to follow. Make sure you follow our podcast page, Live and Unfiltered. We'll post the reels to this video, just highlights of this live on that page. Follow the YouTube as well. It's Live and Unfiltered. The full video will be out later this week. And next week, we will be on Chanel's page. We'll be live again at 8:30 p.m. And yeah, that concludes the live. Thank you again, Mariah. And keep going. Keep pursuing your dreams. And yeah.
Did you say about YouTube? Did you say the YouTube? It'll be on.
I said YouTube.
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Is
her name?
Is it Penny?
Penny. It's my name is Chai.
Oh,
hi,
Chai. Hi, Chai.
Oh,
You're so pretty.
Hey, thank you.
She's just looking
at
you.
That whiskers is cute.
You gotta put Chai to bed, or she put herself to bed?
No, I get in bed and she's like, oh, all right, let me get up to my mama. It's time.
Wow, like a baby for real.
Mm-hmm.
I be thinking cats literally don't want anything to do with you. They want to just be to themselves and so independent.
Oh, that's my other one.
Oh, okay. So
they
can have different personalities.
Exactly.
I'm scared of them. Them eyes look at me. I'm scared of them.
I'm not scared if they're friendly.
I feel like they just, I don't know, like cats, like, I had an experience when I was younger, and I've been scared ever since. So I'm like, but their eyes are so, like, intimidating. I don't know what it is. It's just kind of like, I don't know. It's
they're staring into your soul or something.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Sometimes you stare down with cats.
Right. I'm like, you got it. I don't want no beef.
Yeah. All right, ladies. Well, thanks again for a great live. I hope you both have a great night and a great rest of your week. Good night.
All right. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. Love you.